What's happening, everybody? Welcome to JoJav Productions. This is coverage of the back 10 of the 2019 Amberley Classic. I'm here with Mike Taylor, who is the lead TD and creator of this event, we'll say, for the past several years. We've got to thank Discandat, which is a local sponsor, Amberley Classic, GCFDA, Boom, Stupid Tree Disc Golf, and of course No Bogey Disc Golf. Today we got stud lineup. Jeff at 7, Nick Wong at 6, Jeremiah 4, Cyrus 2, and Zach 2. We're walking into hole 11, 216, and if you haven't watched the front 10 coverage, stop, subscribe to JoJav, and jump back and watch the front 10. You missed some pretty good throws, some really good runs, and some beautiful, temp course holes. So this is the Fox hole. It's 216 and it's blind. The tiny gap you see in the middle right there, you have to hit up the middle. People tried over the top, thumbers, all this stuff, and it didn't work. So if you're not pretty much lacing it up the middle, and even that's going to be a little turn, but it gets out. Wow. That's a great shot by Jeff. That's circle inside the circle right there, and that's not much better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch the front 10, you saw Jeff coming out swinging, hitting lines, hitting putts, Nick doing the same thing.
Yeah.
The reason why they're pacing right now at 7 down, 6 down, and some great players, Jerry, Cyrus, and Zach, a couple strokes behind them.
Ooh, not holding the turn he needs. Yeah, this was a fun one to get. I actually got this 2 out of the 4 rounds I played, and the 2 I got it were parked, and I literally was ecstatic. It feels so good to rip it straight up the gut. It's so much harder than it looks. And these guys kind of height-wise and height control, these guys are making it look so easy. I mean, the fact that Cyrus could still get in the gap and in the middle of it, I mean, that's going to work out. Man, I feel like I did not see this many consistent shots around within circle.
Yeah, they're making it look a lot easier than it is. It's uphill, it's tight gap.
This was a new hole, right?
Yeah, this
was a new hole this year.
This is a new addition. We had to take out 2 holes and added 2 new ones to adjust to different needs set out by the administration of the village.
Yeah, I mean, for a 216-foot hole, it is tough. I mean, this is really, you get a stroke here, you're probably getting at least 1, if not 2, especially on the am field. I'd say a lot of ams probably took par or bogey consistently on this.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
How short it was.
Yeah, Zach's kind of off to a slow start. He jams a putt in there. He's probably going to feel good about that. But Zach has really high expectations for himself, as he should, a player of his caliber, with the skills that he has. He feels every bit like he can come out and compete with all these guys.
Great drive by Nick. Just rode right the inside line and kicked him right there, 15 feet away. I don't know what kind of basket this was. I really dug it though. It was a pretty lightweight temp basket that broke down easy.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I don't remember what it is, but I really would like one now.
Yeah, heavy chains.
Yeah,
nice
heavy chains for a light basket, deep basket. Yeah.
This is the second new addition. Kind of a floaty putter turnover, but mostly players are going to want to take the forehand line kind of high, and we found out throughout the weekend the sawed-off forehand highs are looking almost like it's going into the trees, is usually going to produce the best results on this hole.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're Jeff. Jeff's got a great backhand. I mean, he's got way better backhand than forehand in my opinion. So, but even he's taken a somewhat tighter turnover shot, which is the best way to get there.
Yeah, I wanted to take a quick second, just kind of give a little historical background of this tournament. This is the 3rd year we've ran a singles tournament in the sense, tournament style layout where everybody comes to do shotgun start. Gary Costa, local, was the defending 2-time champ and couldn't make it because of work. We had to change the dates around, and we were jokingly calling it the Amberley Classic, and he definitely wanted to be able to defend the title but couldn't because of work. But I know he wanted to be here, and he really had 2 great back-to-back years of winning this tournament. So just want to give a quick shout-out to Gary for that. We'll try and make it happen next year.
Yeah, it doesn't say next year. Hopefully you can make it, because he is another top-tier local, close to 1,000 rated player that we love to watch, and he's got a unique style to him.
Yeah, pretty much all the local pros, if they're on, they're almost impossible to beat. It's kind of their average rounds tend to be around the 990. They might have some, 960, 970 rounds occasionally, but mostly if they're on, they're hit. They can shoot every bit of 1040, 1050, 1060 golf.
Go, yes.
Yeah, Nick. Where's that shuffle, buddy?
his little jump putts are interesting. It's hyzer, but it's straight. It's not like it goes out and back in. It's literally just straight on a hyzer, straight to the basket.
Yeah, like I said, he spent some time on the West Coast playing with the likes of Nico LaCastro. I can't help but wonder if maybe some of that influence, that nose down hyzer putt from Nico, maybe might influence him back in his earlier days.
He's making them, and Nico makes a lot of them, so who knows.
And these guys are getting into their stride here. They're starting to get their putts together. I know Jerry's not, he's feeling like he wants to be 8 down, because I know he's missed a couple putts. I know he feels like he could be probably 10 down, 11 down. That's just how these guys think. They want to, any hole that they can reach, they want to get a 2 on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing with this course too, is most of these holes these guys for sure could get. It's not a question of distance. I think when it comes to some of the shorter ones, it's more technical, but I think some of these guys like Jerry and Cyrus and Zach, they're probably maybe kicking themselves a little bit knowing they could be shooting better. But I mean, this course does have some teeth, and those teeth can be harmful to your score if you really let it get to you.
Yeah, what would you say, I mean, just from playing it, the holes that we've seen, what do you think is the holes have given you the most trouble?
The most trouble?
Mm-hmm.
For sure, hole 3. It's like we were talking about, that tight up the middle shot, or kind of like a turnover. I mean, the roller is just adaptability. That's something that a lot of players don't have, and if you have it, I think you're just lucky to have that. This is a very deceiving hole too. I mean, the 11 was, like I was saying earlier, is very demanding. It's pretty much up the middle, or you're taking a par bogey for how short it is. And this hole is kind of deceiving. I ended up disking up after the first day to a distance driver from a fairway, and I threw a PD, but I threw like a flippy PD, and that thing didn't make it up there. So I had to crush on a destroyer to even get close. Mm-hmm. And this looks like it's maybe 350, but it plays like 400 for sure.
And that's kind of when I was designing this hole, the idea was that it's a hyzer. It's a bomb hyzer, but something you still have to throw pretty straight for a long time.
Yeah, you gotta have some sort of sense of control on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a controlled hyzer. Couple great shots though. Zach made that lefty turnover shot look very easy, but it's not easy to get in with all those branches and the elevation to get it land flat like he did. I think he'll be obstructed with all that shrubbery around the tree, but he should have a putt for it too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to point out that, like, some of these might have on the fly up looked like, kind of far out shots, but if Cyrus is the furthest out at about circle's edge, then, I mean, these guys are still getting up there for looks pretty consistently.
So this is to keep pace with Jeff, who's parked. See what Nick's got.
There it is.
He says, you're going to birdie, I'm going to birdie. And again, I've had days like that on camera. Personally, in tournaments, it's no fun when you're out there on the course missing putts. I know how that feels, Jerry.
Zach.
It really can start to feel, I don't know what the word to describe it as, but basically just it feels like you're spiraling a little bit out of control when putt after putt, just even if it's a little bit starts falling, it starts to make your confidence feel shaken, and the opposite can go. If you're hitting putts, it really just makes you feel like you can make anything. And
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what mental momentum can do for you. Or the opposite. I mean, I guess I don't know what the opposite of momentum would be, but it can really play on your gameplay. And I think a lot of people can probably relate, but it's crazy how you can go one day smashing big 30 putts over and 30 foot putts over and over, and then the next day sometimes you can't even make a 10 footer, and it's like, what's going on? You're just letting yourself get to yourself.
So this hole, there's you can really go 3 options for the most part. Right hand, you can go hyzer, forehand, or a turnover shot. But most players are probably going to go forehand
Yeah,
on the
forehand's
hyzer.
more wide open. The hyzer play is really high, and it's actually got to be kind of tight.
So Nick's got the box here. He's thinking he wants to put pressure on Jeff because they're competitive. All these guys are competitive. They want to get the momentum, apply the pressure, and be in the driver's seat. That's what they're thinking at this point.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of our local open players they struggle to get that driver's seat, but usually when they get it, it's not many times is there huge battles between more than maybe 2 players per event. I mean, it's usually a couple players on and they're just fighting it out.
Yeah, because
crushing the rest of the field by several strokes.
Right, because I know you'll hear things. I mean, we all know, like, you want to stay in the moment. You try not to think. We all hear that, those cliches. But the reality is, when you know you and one other guy are killing it, and you see somebody like Nick hit a tree, it's going to have a tough putt. That can give a little bit of hope for somebody like Jeff, who's coming up next, to really put some pressure on him to have to hit that putt. But Nick's been cashing putts, so
yeah,
that's well within his
no
range.
Problem making some big ones. Yeah, this grass is very thick. There's not really much skip play for most of the holes, and even on some of the holes after walking, you can see the grass has been matted down, and you don't get too much skip play on them. And I personally kind of like that. It requires, because a lot of these holes aren't crazy long, but it requires placement off the tee, and if you're not getting the proper placement, it's like we were saying earlier, you're just left with 30 footers over and over and over again. If you're not making those, then you're not really hanging. Keep it tied up. Oh, just short. Little taparoo. How did he keep his sunglasses like that? They're like sitting on his eyebrows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeff wears sunglasses all year round.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, even when he's probably inside his house, he's wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, unfortunately, after that last hole, we had to remove 2 of the holes that were staples of the course. They're sorely missed. But we have this little walk here to hole 15. We got the cart path that would be on the left. There used to be an absolute barrier wall of thorns halfway down the fairway on the right. If you went in there, you were not having any fun. This hole plays a little bit longer than 405. It honestly probably plays more like 440, 450, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely going to see everybody take almost a tight over-the-top flex shot, or maybe an even bigger flex. The years I've played, the absolute park jobs I've seen were ironically both by Nick and Nick Shoemaker and Calvin Caldwell. They both threw crank SS's, and they did the far left turnover flex, and those were pretty much phenomenal park jobs.
Yeah, it's like the shape of the shot is what makes it challenging, because Jerry is probably one of our farthest throwers in our area, and he even went for a roller because you have to get it out to the left, flexing, and then hold that flex without hitting the trees that Jeff hit.
Yep.
But you also don't want to hyzer something out early and go beat.
But this is that Anthon. I've seen he threw flicks, he threw hyzer flips. He threw just about every shot with this disc, and he says that he trusts this disc more than just about anything in his bag. So, and it's crazy. I mean, I've seen him throw this on a hyzer, and the thing is stable, but you see him also throw this massive flex with it. He just knows how to use that softer star plastic. Yeah, this is a very, very challenging hole. I've never personally, for someone who can get some distance, I've never really had much luck with it, and this is looking really good.
Yeah, oddly enough, either have I. I've never put this within 20, 30 feet.
Yeah, exactly. I've been circle 2 a couple times, but I've never been really in circle 1, and I mean, I'm never mad about it. This is a tough hole.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think at this point, if you're in Jerry, Zach, or Cyrus's situation, you're just trying to keep pace as much as you can and just hope that Jeff and Nick falter at some point, maybe take a bogey or a double bogey here or there. Just they're trying to keep themselves in it because they know that these guys are just absolutely crushing it right now. They know they can do the same if they get a couple breaks here or there.
Yeah,
they're not out of it
This is
yet.
only the first round, and I think these guys know in the back of their head. I'm sure they're pretty good at coming to terms with, well, there's always next round, because this is a course that, well, like if you're on, you still can shoot on 20 holes, anywhere from 12, 14, 15 plus down.
Yeah.
If you're on it.
Nice,
Ooh, look
Zach.
at that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, those kinds of parts are why Zach is the amateur champion, because he's just been doing that for years. His putting has always been so solid.
It's so crazy. He wobbles his disc in his hand, and I personally watch him, and it just it scares me a little bit. I'm like, man, if I did that, I feel like I'm about to drop the disc out of my hand during the
Right.
putt. But he's so solid, and it follows through every time.
Yeah, lots of practice, lots of repetitions from Zach. I know he spends a lot of time, practicing in his backyard at his dad's house. This hole is personally probably my favorite. It's steeped with treachery on both sides.
I lost a disc.
You did.
One of my favorites.
So you and probably dozens of others,
Yep.
but you can see it's a narrow fairway, cart path OB on both sides, pond on the left. Got to miss those trees, land something with a sloping.
This shot
green.
takes some cojones, man. You got to really you're going to be flirting with those trees, and the water's right there. It's even if you hit the trees, you're probably losing your disc.
Yep, exactly.
But either way, it's a hyzer. I've never seen anyone go up the middle. I don't really think there's much of an up the middle route that's trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tight between the left path trees and those trees you see in the very middle.
Well, just to add on what we were talking about a minute ago, we got about one more birdie hole after this, and then we at the last 3 finishing holes are all par 4s. So again, just kind of mentioning that 5 strokes might feel like a lot now, but if you can get into some serious trouble in the last 3 holes here. So I know these competitors are locked in still. They're still focusing and trying to grind it out, get their birdies when they can.
Yeah, I mean, we played doubles open the next day, and I typically am not. I play advanced for the most part, and watching some of the open players struggle on these upcoming par 4s it made me feel better about myself, because I had several days I played them pretty well and several days that I didn't. So it made me feel a little better. Oh man, right up the front.
See, that's exactly it. Seeing a little margin there can get these guys a little bit more motivated, make them want to focus that much more and really hit these putts.
Yeah, I feel like I mentioned it a few times, and it's something that you're maybe not on this hole specifically you're seeing a lot of, but wind did play a factor in different parts of the day here. I mean, we talked about it on the rounds between the days. It's it feels like especially after second round picks up, it's like the wind seemed to pick up too. So there's probably some wind that you're not able to really feel out just by watching it right now that could be playing into these guys' shots and putting. So much elevation change, the littlest amount of wind really can
nice,
change.
Zach.
Yeah,
See, that's
sure.
exactly it. Yeah, actually, this was the hole, that tree, it's right behind the basket, was the unfortunate tree that claimed Joe's drone when we were out here getting the pre-flight footage. That one right behind Jerry was a sad moment. That drone came crashing down. There you go, Jerry.
Well, picking up the save. It's a little bummed, but I'm sure one good putter throw will take him right out of that attitude. Drop her in.
Yeah, I was really excited when I heard Joe was starting up the Joe Jav Productions, because a lot of people enjoy. Obviously, I like watching the top touring pros in the world play, but there's something to be said about players in the 990 to 1010 range that they just don't get enough credit for how good they really are. That's a homage to the basket tackling Sean Tiemann, buddy. We love you.
Oh, good shot. Yeah, it was nice. It's nice it's nice that Joe came through and is doing this, because in all honesty, in this part of the Midwest, there isn't really any footage of local events to begin with. So the fact that he's starting out and he's committing to doing it, and we get to be a part of pretty much his first solid year of doing events and coverage is pretty awesome, and I'm happy and blessed to be able to be a part of it. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Be part of each other's growth.
Yeah, because a lot of people know about Batman Dutch Napier out of Kentucky, and obviously Trevor Lee Harbolt, Step with Trevor, PDGA board, and then Paul Oman in Indiana. I might be missing somebody. People probably know household names like Brad Schick at this
Brad
point.
Schick out of North.
So there is a lot of great players, but all these guys, they have families, they have careers, and might not be able to make it out on tour, but they can hang with most of the top touring pros.
Yeah, for sure.
And they got some game, they got some skill.
Yeah, and if you guys get a chance to, I mean, you can see these guys play and battle it out with top touring pros at Idlewild because most of these guys are there, and you can see some of the rounds they shoot, and they definitely can hang. They might not be as consistent sometimes, but they can be, and if they are, these guys have the talent.
Yep.
They could be on tour if they had the time.
Jeff getting back on the saddle, boy.
Yeah, from the experiences I've had watching and seeing Jeff's play, it's once he's on in the driver's seat, he's pretty hard to give up strokes. You don't see big errors. It might be, the closest putts that he's missing. It's not like he's whiffing anything. He's given everything he's got.
Yeah, all these guys have. Oh, nice putt, Jerry. That's pretty typical of Jerry. That's his normal putting. Confident, smooth spin putt right in the center of the chains. But all these guys have some claim to fame locally. Jeff's claim to fame, one of them is drawing himself as his own doubles partner at Lincoln Ridge or Banklick, shooting 24 down.
On 24 holes.
Yeah, on 24 holes. I don't think he took any mulligans either.
Lincoln Ridge was I don't think it was a tour stop, but it was definitely a stop for touring pros. They would come and play some events at Lincoln Ridge, several years ago. Avery's been there, Simon's been there, and hole 24 specifically is one of the biggest holes we got around here.
Yeah, it's considered probably the most fun course to play.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't you agree? If you're going to visit the tri-state area, northern Kentucky, southwest Ohio, it's definitely make a stop at Lincoln Ridge, Banklick, 24-hole course.
Yeah, if you're on like a
really
casual fun round with a little bit of a challenge, you definitely should hit up Lincoln Ridge because you'll have a lot of fun and there'll be a couple holes that really make you think, though.
Yep. So here we are. I designed these last 3 holes to really test players coming down the stretch wanting to hold a lead or players wanting to get back in. You see it's shaped like a horseshoe, mandatory tree on that first pine. You have to throw something around, and then it's a very, very challenging approach to the green that's nestled right by an OB cart path and an OB pond.
Yeah, I mean, the play is definitely the hyzer. You're probably going to see most people, regardless of division even, just take a wide hyzer because it's safe, it's open, it gives you the same shot, just maybe a little longer the basket. But if you want to get aggressive, for a lefty, it's this, which, he just didn't get it turned up.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see.
That would have been so nuts to see. But yeah, the aggressive play is going to be an incredibly tight hyzer, and I was lucky enough to throw one of my shots that weekend, an incredibly tight hyzer, and I still was like, what? Should I be closer? I nutted that. Just...
Because you can be 10 feet, 20 feet in the wrong spot on this hole because of that pine tree you can see
especially
on the right.
Yeah, if you don't, especially if you don't have a good forehand or a turnover shot, I mean, you're pretty much bringing that tree into play.
You like being lefty on this approach shot. You can just start. I think that's a harpy stone there. But that would be interesting to see how far a well-executed lefty roller could get down there.
Yeah, there's the pond, the backside of that pond from hole 16 down there on the left, and I feel like most people feel obligated to throw very stable forehands because they get worried about it.
Yeah, you can play. You saw right there. You can come up short and play the roll and skip down the rest of the way.
Nick's got such a smooth little flick. It is the downhill shot is you kind of see a lip on the backside of where the basket is now. There's like a little lip.
That's been Cyrus's day right there. Unfortunately, he's also a lights out putter, and he knows he can be shooting 11, 9, 10.
Yeah, and that's definitely from Cyrus specifically. I mean, I feel like he plays like a hyzer flip and kind of almost flex shots to get some distance, but he can be pretty reliable outside circle 1 usually.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned in the front 10, Cyrus has, I think, the most wins locally. Maybe I have to look at Matt Blakely, but coming out with 60 wins, this guy's been getting it done for years at a high level.
Speaking of Matt Blakely, hopefully we can get him back for singles next year.
Yeah, he needs to quit going to Europe when Amberley's happening.
I know. I feel that happening. been a couple times he's gone to Europe during big events. How dare him?
I mean, I'd be hard pressed.
Yeah, this event specifically.
Europe, but still.
Any other one that's at a course that we can play all year. There we go.
You know, Cyrus trying to catch the shade. It was 90s this weekend. It was hot. Coming down the stretch, it's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
That also plays into effect.
I can't remember what everybody said a full 2 rounds was. I want to say it was
like 9 miles
it was like
or something.
A little over 8.5 miles or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a decent amount of walking.
Yeah, at this point, 12 down, 10 down is scorching scores right now.
Sure.
So
this is the gobbler we're walking into.
Yeah. The infamous gobbler.
Yeah, there's a tree on the right. You'll see it's orange, and that gobbles up discs. These last 3, Turkey Gulch, I think is that what you were calling it?
Just a gobbler.
Yeah.
One of the first years we had the tournament here was the fall,
yeah.
and it was at Maple down there, Japanese Maple, and everybody was turning it over because there was a headwind on this hole, and that's like the real first mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much distance to get that, and that you kind of need, especially if you want the birdie. You really have to bite that distance off right away, and the headwind on this hole every time gets it. You're afraid to commit, and there's that Anthon again. You can see, I mean, it's turning. It's a stable disc, and it's still turning quite a bit because of the headwind. And that's a decent place to be. I mean, you can still get an approach shot there.
I think this hole played the hardest all weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Getting a 3 was impressive.
Yeah.
Even in doubles, it felt like a great get.
I mean, we got a 3 based on like a really poor, wobbly 120-foot jump putt. Yes, it is. As long as it gets beefy right before the gobbler.
Wow.
Almost gobbler.
Cyrus tempting fate.
Yes, he was. That was Hayden down there. Props to Hayden for helping Joe out too.
That's not coming back.
Yeah, it's not stable enough.
I mean, you can see that's a crush, though. Straight into the gobbler.
Yeah.
Gobbler's going to eat.
Up.
Any time of year, gobbler's going to eat.
Was Zach from Boston? Or is he just like Boston?
I don't remember the backstory. I asked him about it because I thought the same thing.
Look at this. Oh, please get back.
Sneaky.
Oh,
what?
It didn't even come back across. The tree's right on the cart path.
So frustrating, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was about to be huge.
Well, I think the longest drive I ever saw on this hole was Ben Clark. He probably took it about 150 short of the green.
That is just insane.
Yeah, he smashed it.
I can't even imagine my best drives getting there. Oh, that one, I feel like that tree ate up a lot of shots too.
Yeah, you saw me do that.
It's the mini
over
gobbler.
the weekend. Yep.
Yeah. I did it as well, all right?
Gobbler Jr. See what Jeff can rebound. Looks
That's
like
a great looking shot. Yes, it is.
And the little
and he gets a little roll. Nice.
That's an amazing.
That was great. That's a great shot.
4, I mean, there's a reason why it's par 4. 4 still feels okay. You know, you want to try and get a 3 on this hole, but
and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be on the backside of that because that's guaranteeing a layup. There really isn't much of a putt when you're directly on the other side of that stuff. We had a couple people on our cards that were in the stuff just for putts, and it's like impossible from that side. It's pretty much a hyzer forehand layup.
You know, as seeing Nick throw that touch, float, or spin putt is just a testament to how long he's been playing. You see so many players, and there's nothing wrong with it, but so many players have been playing 5 years or left. They see all the touring pros playing the jump putt, you know, from 100 feet, 110 feet and in. You can see that was really the style a long time ago, was just an accurate spin putt from about 60 to 80 feet.
Good putt. Dead center. Yeah, I mean, if you can talk to a lot of, modern touring pros too, and they'll probably tell you the straight shot, the long straight shot is one of the hardest shots to really master, and you definitely can't do it. The faster disc you put in your hand, it's harder to do. So, mad props to anybody who can just float a simple, straight.
Simon Lizotte comes to mind. I don't think Simon has really ever jump putt, or he does so much finesse.
Yep.
Maybe even Eagle, they do those spin putts, kind of floating. All right, we're coming in the last hole. This hole is a double mandatory off the tee box. Is actually getting harder and harder every year to get off the box inbounds. That cart path is OB left. You go up the fairway and you have another same cart path, but it's nestled right along it. You got to get by those trees and not go OB.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this hole is, I mean, it's height, it's distance and power, it's
angle.
It's angle. Yeah, yep. It's 100% out of your hand. Probably needs to be on the slightest bit of ante with a faster speed disc, and if you
those things have doubled in size since we first started playing. Definitely. I mean, it used to be just rip something straight up the middle. And you were getting over it unless you just absolutely left it.
There were a couple claims to have gotten like circle 2 on this from a couple people.
I verified that claim. Nat Fan, I heard the same thing. He said he threw a Thunderbird up there in the circle. I asked the people on his card. They verified that because I thought the same thing too.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just so hard to do. And a Thunderbird, I guess, makes sense.
If you get a lot of ground play, maybe skip the last 50 feet. I could see it, but. Yeah, it's unfortunate break for Jerry. Sitting at 5 down. He wants to finish this round strong and come back swinging next round.
Man, Zach throws righty forehands from a lefty straighter than I throw. Jeff, he's trying to play a skip too. That's all he's trying to.
Oh! Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty dry too, so I mean that kind of always plays into the taller, thicker.
We were in like a semi-drought. We hadn't had rain for a long time.
Yeah, over a month.
Super dry, super hot. We even had lots of hot weather into October. Odd for us.
Yeah, I mean it's going into November right now, and I think it was like mid-50s today, so that's just finally starting to cool down.
I know Zach wants that shot back.
This is from Jerry's OB drive. He actually got some distance on his going OB, which most people don't. They typically go OB. Ooh. Yeah.
It's actually a lot easier than it looks to go OB because once you get up on that green, it's kind of like dirt and lots of acorns. You can just kind of just skip right on OB.
Yeah. Our last round, we had 3 people saved by the lip of that walking path right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Great try.
Jeff
Wizard.
Oh,
a little short. Great round though.
Definitely. I mean, 12 down is a great round. I mean, you can't be mad about 12 down.
Yeah, he's going to be feeling good between rounds. Got to eat some lunch. Got to get focused. Come back for round 2. Nick's going to be right on his heels. Cyrus actually not far behind, and we'll see what the rest of the competitors out there. There's a lot of great pros. As I mentioned, we had over 30 open players for this event.
And not many of them weren't really talented open players. I mean, I'd say easily the top 15, top 20 are high 900 to 1,000 rated players from across the tri-state, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio area. So, I mean, it's been nice, and we were so lucky to have that considering our turnout.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was the front round coverage of the 2019 No Bogey Amberley Classic brought to you by Joe Jav Productions. As Steven mentioned earlier, subscribe and tune in for round 2 coming right back at you.
Thanks, guys.